Did you know we're eating and drinking roughly a credit card's worth of plastic a week? Yep, that's right. Blue Land set out to do something about it, eliminate the need for single-use plastic in the cleaning products we reach for the most. I'm absolutely obsessed with Blue Land for a couple of reasons. One, how they're helping the environment. Two, how convenient they make my life. And three, how freaking beautiful their pastel containers are. All you have to do is fill your reusable bottles with water, drop in the tablets, and wait for them to dissolve. You'll never have to grab bulky cleaning products on your groceries run again. My partner was a little skeptical the other day if the dishwasher tablets would work as well as the pods we usually use, but after the dishes came out sparkling clean, he was sold as well. It's not only super convenient, but Blue Land is also affordable. Refills start at just $2.25, and you can even set up a subscription or buy in bulk for additional savings. Blue Land has a special offer for listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off.
Is anyone else struggling with what to wear these days? I feel like styles change faster than dating trends, and I certainly don't want to be buying new clothes all the time just to keep up. So enter Armoire. Armoire allows you to rent high-quality designer clothing for every occasion. And when I signed up, I took a style quiz, and based on my preferences, they offer suggestions that would best match my lifestyle. The more I rent, the more on point the suggestions get. I recently rented this gorgeous Tanya Taylor silk dress for date night and got so many compliments. I wouldn't normally have chosen this style, but with Armoire, you can take chances because if you don't like it, you just swap it out. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That is armoire.style, spelled ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today. And if you forget the link, just head to our Instagram and find it under special offers. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating sociologists.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to the DATEABLE podcast. Hello, lovely Dateables. Welcome to Brunch Talk, where we dissect, analyze, really hone in on some burning dating questions you all have. Thank you for sending them in, by the way. We've gotten an influx of questions recently.
We can't keep up with them. We will keep up with them, but it's been hard. So thank you all for sending them. There's some really good ones too that I feel like when we read them, we're like, yep, a lot of people have this challenge.
Yep. And so you should never feel alone in whatever you're going through because this is all very relatable for so many daters, especially this question. The question is, should I ask out a coworker?
Yes. And then for more details, I worked with this cute girl for about 6 years. After about a year of working together, I asked her out and she said she didn't want to date coworkers. I thought it was probably more than that though. I've done a lot of work on myself since then, and we've built up a lot more connection over the next 5 years. I suspect her views on me may be changing, but I don't know if it's just friendliness or more than that. Do you think I should ask her out again? To note, I'm also looking to change my job in the next few months, unrelated to her.
There is sort of a difference you want to understand. And the difference is this person just not interested or they truly feel like the circumstances are not in your favor? So before you make that judgment of if you should ask them out again, it's probably better to get clear on how this person feels about you as a potential romantic partner.
Because I feel like the work thing it could be an excuse. I don't want to say it's the only thing because it does add a lot of complications. So it's definitely a gray area. I mean, if you're already looking to leave the job, first of all, I like that you have acknowledged it has nothing to do with her. Mm-hmm. So that's a good first step because that would not be advised. But yeah, if you're already looking to move on, I think at that point, that might be a way to open up the conversation again too. And just be like, hey, I know, I asked you out a couple of years ago. We've kind of moved forward with that. I really value our friendship, but I do see you as more or whatever. Is that something you're open to? And then you'll get that answer pending you do want to keep moving this in a romantic sense. And then that opens up the whole friendship thing is another thing. But if, let's say, it's really just coworkers, then I think this is your time to try.
Right. And also, you need to kind of get clear on, are you into this person because you see them all the time? Like there's that familiarity of this person, or do you truly see a potential of romance with this person? So maybe it's like getting to know them outside of work and then kind of bring this up. Because I get it. Like a lot of times when you're with someone a lot, and you get to communicate with them a lot, you almost feel like there's that romantic rapport building when it's just like time spent. So it might be helpful to even see them outside of work.
And we don't know, like they might hang out outside of work. That's definitely a possibility from all this. But yeah, I guess like what are you doing in that time spent too? It's not just hanging out. If you're just getting drinks with a bunch of coworkers and she's one of the people, that's not really telling you that much, but maybe it's the baby steps. I think this whole point about like, should I ask them out again though, is a good one because there is also a line here that if someone tells you no, you don't want to keep pestering them and, you know, not obeying boundaries pretty much. Like they told you like they don't want to go out with you. That being said, things do change. So it's not like it's always a one and done. I would say like, how can you have this conversation that's not just like, maybe it's like build up a little more of just understanding before you come out and be like, I want to ask you out again. Yeah,
I find that if someone is only into you to go out with, it kind of feels, I don't know, does it feel a little demeaning? Like, okay, you tried it a few years ago, now you're leaving this job and you're going to try again because you only see me as a potential like romantic partner. But I would be curious to know if like, do you even see me as a friend first? Is there a friendship to begin with? So maybe in the way that you bring this up, it's not like, let's go on a date and see what happens. It's like, now I'm leaving this job. I still have feelings for you. Would you be willing to explore that? And maybe we can start by going out for a coffee first.
Yeah, I like the ease in for it, for sure. It's such a tricky one, though, because it's like on one side, like, you know, like I could see it being like, oh, has this person only been hanging out with me because they like secretly like me and that being kind of like a weirdness. But then also on the other side, there is something nice about like someone being like, yeah, like I really actually do see something with you. And like we always say, like we want people to act with conviction.
True.
So I do like, I don't want to like discourage this person from like going after what they want. I think it's just having that two-way communication. Like, I'm glad you reached out to us, but at the same time, like you could also just have said to this person, or maybe it is when you leave the job, that might be the cleaner break of just like, hey, I know I asked you out a few years ago, but I have noticed things have changed. Like, do you feel the same way? Or is that just because like we've grown a friendship, or do you like see this potentially as something more?
Yeah, having that nice, friendly conversation is so great without just diving into the deep end. And I'm just thinking about the receiving end, how I would want to hear it is, I really want to feel that I'm being respected. I really want to feel that the feelings are genuine and authentic. And even if I don't have reciprocal feelings, that feeling of like having someone respect you and want to spend more time with you is so nice. Why I wouldn't not welcome that. I was also just thinking, you know how some people like put you in a bucket based on the context you're in? Some people do put coworkers in the platonic, never going there bucket.
Definitely.
And maybe it will take her some time to ramp up to the idea of taking you out of that bucket. So just don't expect things to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
Definitely give her some time to catch up to the idea.
I think that's really important to say because we don't know. Like, we don't know what this person is thinking. Like, maybe it is they just were not attracted to you. They use the coworker line to have an easy out. That could be it. It also could be that they did not want to mix dating and work. That is a very real thing in today's world. So it may not be personal, but I agree with you. Like, even if they were like, oh yeah, I'm like kind of into this person, but I'm going to put them in the coworker bucket. 6 years later, like they might have really seen you in that coworker bucket. It's hard to know. Again, it's just opening up that conversation with this person in a way that's not like putting them on the spot to make a decision immediately.
You're right. Exactly.
I have a personal question for you, Yue, but before we get into it, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. Spring, a time for new beginnings. But you know what adds an extra spring to my step? Our partners at Via Hemp. Whether you want to get better sleep, ease anxiety, enhance your mood, or just get high, they have something for you, including their best-selling High Love Gummy, which will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience. A couple of weeks ago, I shared some of my gummies with my cleaner, Lou, who we've also had as a guest on this podcast. Shout out to Lou. The first thing he said to me when he came over today was if he could have more because they were that damn good. Personally, I've been liking their zero THC products. So whether you're a 2 milligram or a 50 milligram user, Via has something for you. So head to viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off and one free sample of their award-winning gummies. 21 plus. That's VIIA hemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Via Hemp. I admit I've been late to the party for having a skincare routine, but I'm now on board. I'm absolutely obsessed with Osea's cleansers and serums and their mission of clean skin and body care products. Every night before bed, I've been using their algae body oil. It leaves my skin feeling silky soft and unbelievably glowing. I love that it's rich yet never greasy and clinically proven to instantly improve skin elasticity. And it visibly firms and makes my skin feel more sculpted and toned. I also love that Osea is women-founded and led and has made clean, clinically proven, seaweed-infused skincare for over 28 years. So what are you waiting for? Get healthy, glowing skin for summer with clean, vegan skin and body care from Osea. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. Head to OSEAMalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off.
With summer right around the corner, it's such a perfect time to get out there and meet people. But we also know how challenging it is to meet people in real life. I mean, how did people do this before cell phones and dating apps, right? Well, we want to demystify that for you and remove any anxiety around meeting people in the wild. And that's why we've created a masterclass on this very topic. We've gathered some best practices in a comprehensive plan that will help you appear more approachable, have more confidence around strangers, and be strategic around where and when to meet people, while not compromising your interests or who you are. And for Dateable listeners, we're giving you a special $10 off discount with the code DATEABLE. Just head to dateablepodcast.com and go to programs. And don't forget to use the code DATEABLE for $10 off. The link and code are also in our show notes, or you can always DM us on Instagram if you have any questions. We're only offering this until June 5th, so sign up while you can.
So you with your current partner, you've known each other for a bit in a professional context, not like working together, but you kind of put him in that professional bucket. And yeah, he didn't ask you out before, so it's not the total same situation, but I do see a little bit of a parallel that you viewed this person as a professional contact. And then one day it kind of came to light of, oh, maybe this could be more. What kind of got you there that you could maybe apply to this person or maybe like in the approach of your partner too?
Yeah. I definitely put him in the professional bucket thinking, I don't want to ruin this contact because it could really mean a lot for my professional career. But I think at some point, I mean, 7 years later, so I hope this person doesn't feel like they need to wait 7 years, but I think at some point...
Well, we've already waited 6, so what's one more year?
That's true. Yeah. Actually, that's the answer to your question. Just wait one more year and then you'll get there. I think at some point I thought about what are my priorities in life, and is my priority really about advancing my career, or is it about developing really meaningful, deep relationships in my life?
Yeah.
And when we were at the crossroads of like, do we cross the line here? I thought, well, I need to be true to my priority, which is developing these deeper connections in my life. And we even said at the beginning of our relationship, if this doesn't work romantically, we're still going to support each other, respect each other, and do everything we can to help each other's professional careers. This is not going to ruin that. I'm glad that we made that agreement, but it was also, I have no regrets in crossing that line. But we had to be really intentional about it. to begin with.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to like, is this the only pathway to your career? Like, it's not.
Right.
You know, like one person isn't going to like make or break your career. And
No.
it sounds like this person is like kind of in the career side, like they're already moving on regardless of this.
Yes.
What got you like out of like seeing this person more romantically, like that part of it?
I mean, this particular scenario, it was seeing him outside of a professional setting, seeing him talk about his kids, seeing him talk about his childhood. He was a completely different person when you're not talking shop. So that's why I'm saying for this listener, you might want to just really get out of the work context because it's, once you leave a job, you do eventually stop talking about that job. And that could be much more telling than you still being entrenched in that job culture.
That's a good point, because even if you two are hanging out outside of work, we don't know the extent. Like there could be level 1 is I only see them at work. Level 2 is we do the happy hours and we hang out with work people in a group setting and we're always talking about work. And then level 3 is like we have developed an actual friendship that is away from work. And we don't know where you fit in that, but most likely you're at least on level 2 because like you're in the thick of work right this minute. It's hard to get away from it if you're in it.
And Julie, since leaving your full-time job, the former coworkers you still hang out with, that's a different friendship now. You're like evolving into something different.
Definitely.
It's the same thing here. Like when you were coworkers, you always have that job to talk about. You always have something in common.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually that talk is going to die down because it's no longer going to be relevant to you.
Right. So I guess like for this person, it seems like if you are truly on a path outside of this job, then this is a very clear, you should give this a second chance. Like, I think this absolutely is set up for you to do that. And you decide like how direct you want to get or how much you want to ease in. I think what we're saying here is maybe have a couple of those meets that aren't necessarily like a date.
Yeah.
And just like see if 1, that person's even receptive to it. And then 2, like how does the conversation flow? I think maybe that's another piece of it too, of it's hard when you've been with someone like as a friend for like 6 years. It's hard to just like date them to decide if they're the right person for you.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like obligated. Like, let's say like she was like secretly had a crush on you this whole time, just putting this out as a scenario. And then you say to her too, like, oh, I actually want to like pursue something. It's hard to like not go to like 180 and like have a full blown relationship at that point. So maybe if you do just meet up, under a non-date context of just trying to get to know this person better outside of work, you can also evaluate, like, is this actually a good partner for me?
Right. You don't know till you remove yourself out of the work context. My question to you, Julie, which I thought was going to be your question to me, is have you ever been in a scenario where you thought about crossing the line with a coworker? I know you've hooked up with an ex-coworker from a long time ago, but what about something more like evaluating someone for relationship potential?
There were 2 people that it never went anywhere, but I did like kind of like a little crush on them and was like, oh, like this could be something, or like I'd want it to be something if they had made the move.
But you didn't pursue any of them.
I never made the move. I never pursued something. It never was like a makeout or anything. It was very platonic. But I think had they come to me and said something, I 100% would have been on board. And like, who knows? Maybe they weren't interested, or maybe they also were like, I don't know. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Like similar to this person. I mean, this person, I guess, was bold enough to even ask out in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky line, workplace stuff.
Well, back in the day when you had to go into the office, it was way trickier because you didn't want to be seen walking in with this person or flirting with this person. But now with remote work, it's got to be a lot easier, right?
Well, I think it's easier in some ways and harder in others. Like it's easier to get it off the ground in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I don't know about you, UA, but like I feel like, I don't know if I've like ever looked at someone on like a Zoom call and been like,
no, never.
Oh, the rapport is building. I mean, maybe,
no.
I don't know, maybe a little it could happen. I don't want to say it can because you do at least have the repetition. But I do think the in-person element is what makes it more like appealing. But I agree with you on the awkwardness. And there's also like the if something was to happen, I feel like it needs to be in the outside world too, right?
Right.
Like there needs to be something that goes from Zoom to in person to even like get to the place of asking someone out.
I mean, a lot of steps have to happen. I have these two old coworkers. It was before the pandemic when I was working at this company. And then after the pandemic, it was like 2021, I find out on Instagram that they're married. And I had no idea they were even dating. So apparently it happened before the pandemic. Then everybody went virtual and then they like really deepened their relationship. They freaking got married.
I mean, when I worked at Yahoo, like a lot of people got married from there.
Yeah.
Like it was a thing.
Yeah.
So it was like meeting friends of friends was number one. And then meeting in the office was number two with a coworker.
For sure.
And now it's like online dating apps number one.
Yeah.
And then like meeting in the workplace, like down to like the very bottom. Because I think of Me Too also. Like there's just so much riding on the workplace ones that people are just very, very hesitant.
I mean, back in the day, the shit that would happen in the office place would never happen today.
No.
I'm thinking about your first job out of college. I'm thinking about my first job out of college.
It's like a shit show.
Oh my God, it was like a fucking orgy every night. Like people just going out to bars, getting hammered, going home with each other, and then showing up at work the next day together. Like, whatever. That would never happen today.
I like have trouble sometimes remembering that stage of life and just like actually believing that happened.
Right. And it was okay. It was normal.
Like it just felt so unprofessional too, thinking about it now. It's like you would hear all these rumors. Like there was like the shit that was actually happening. And then there was rumors that weren't even true. Like I remember like hearing, like someone was like, oh, I heard you hooked up with this person. I was like, no.
Same. Oh my gosh. Yes. After I quit my first job out of college, I had all these people reach out to me. It's like, we heard that you hooked up with the manager. We're like, what? I like never even talked to the dude that much outside of work. It's strange. It's like, so gossip infested.
When you asked that question, though, like I was thinking about my last job where like the thought never crossed my mind. No. But yeah, if I rewind a couple years ago, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. This person did say, obviously we truncate these messages because they can be lengthy. They did say that they were in their 20s. Also, I think when I was in my 20s, my work environment, like I was like, first of all, just like friends with a lot more people that I'm still friends with today. Mm-hmm. I just had more of an appetite to like go out and do stuff with coworkers. So some of it could just be the times have changed, but also like the time of our lives have changed.
That's true. Yeah, it could be both. But either way, hopefully you got your answer out of this and know that ease your way in.
Yeah.
And also understand that, sometimes once you're removed from that context, things could change. So just kind of be flexible about your expectations.
I really like that because like at this point, all you know is that you're attracted to this person and that you like enjoy their company and connection. And that's not nothing. I don't want to say it's nothing. It certainly is a really good baseline, but it's just that, a baseline.
Yep. Thanks for that question. And anybody else, if you have other questions, we have a ton of questions in the queue. But did you know that if you leave us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts and ask your question in the review, we will bump up your question to the front of the queue so you get your question answered much quicker.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Our feelings aren't hurt. You can email us your questions, hello@dateablepodcast.com. Your question will be answered in 2030. Just kidding.
If you are coming from, YouTube or Spotify, you can go leave a rating on Spotify and then just email us or DM us on Instagram saying you left the rating.
Right.
That also works. And let us know your question. We get that everyone's not Apple Podcasts listener, but if you are, that's the easiest way. But there's other ways too.
For sure. So our email, hello@dateablepodcast.com. Our Instagram is @dateablepodcast. And we'll see you all next week.
See you next week. Bye.
The Dateable Podcast is part of the Frolic Media Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at Dateable Podcast and visit dateablepodcast.com for access to all the episodes and our premium programs. Also, make sure to subscribe today if you haven't already on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform so you are the first to get all the latest episodes. And most importantly, stay dateable.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. Ah.